Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. We had a very strong rally across the global markets starting from Europe, which was up about 1.5 to 2%, and some of the developments which could have led to the strong move was that the Moody's has reaffirmed the rating for Spain, though the overall outlook remains negative, and also we had some positive data coming out from Germany. In US markets also we had seen a very strong up move driven primarily by the earnings that some of the companies reported, which was better than expected. And in a surprise move, the Citigroup CEO Vikram Pandit has resigned, which really took the market by surprise. And though the numbers that Citigroup reported were pretty much in line with expectations, it's not very clear what led to this sudden resignation. Talking about the Asian markets today morning, most of them are up about 1 to 1.5%. And in terms of flows, we have seen some buying by the domestic institutions after a long time, and the net figure was about 595 crore. At the same time, the foreign institutional investors were sellers to the tune of 204 crore. So we are seeing some kind of a reversal in this number wherein FIs have sold in the cash market after a long time and the domestic institutions have bought in after a long time. Also friends, euro is at a 4-month high against the dollar at 1.31. Talking about our own markets, friend, we had grossly underperformed in yesterday's market. Though most of the Asian markets and the European markets were good, we actually came down quite sharply in the last 2 hours of trade, which was quite surprising. And to take us through important data on the F&O markets and the possible ideas and strategies, let me invite Shaival.
Good morning friends. For past 7 trading sessions, we have seen that Nifty future has continuously undergone a reduction, whereas on the other hand we have seen that mini Nifty future has been continuously adding open interest from past 7 trading sessions. Now what we have seen is that the PCR ratio has further declined to 0.96, and we have also seen that market has been declining from say above 5,700 levels, and yesterday we have seen a sharp sell-off during the second half. Now with a sell-off in the market, what we have seen is that implied volatility has also further cooled off by say around 50 to 150 basis points. So what we feel is that 5,600 would act as a good support for the market, because 5,600 put option stands with highest number of shares in the open interest, that is around 77 lakh shares. Whereas if we have a look at the activity on the call side, 5,700 call option has 71 lakh shares. Whereas 5,800 call option stands with 1 crore shares in the open interest. So 5750 is the weekly VWAP. So market would face hurdle around 5750, and if 5750 has been taken off, 5800 would be the probable hurdle in the market on the upside. From the intraday perspective, we have identified 3 stocks. Kane India is looking positive, so one can maintain a stop loss of 329 rupees 60 paisa to go long. South Bank is also looking good, so one can maintain a stop loss of 23.35, whereas one can go short on Bajaj Auto with resistance of 177.95.
Friends, back home, these are the news that we are tracking today. First of all, Shree Cement reported numbers yesterday, and operating performance was pretty much in line with expectations. At the net profit level, the numbers were much better because of the sale of the power units. And as we all know that for the past few weeks, cement as a sector is doing well, and particularly the regions like north, east and central regions where some of the Shree Cement's plants are located are doing exceptionally well, as the utilization level is almost about 85 to 90%. And in the month of September, Shree Cement reported the highest ever growth in dispatch. So overall fundamental outlook on Shree Cement is positive. So investors can definitely look at investing in Shree Cement. Also friends, HCL Tech is likely to come out with numbers today, and the broad outlook here is that on the US dollar revenue growth, there is going to be a 4.4% kind of a growth. Also in case of the rupee revenue growth, it would be about 5.1%. But at the net profit level, there is going to be 3.4% negative growth, mainly because of 2 reasons. One is that the company effected the wage hike in the month of July. Also, the way the rupee has appreciated against dollar, it could put some pressure on the net profit growth. So this is the numbers that we are working with as far as HCL Tech is concerned. Friends, in case of oil exploration, the government has indicated that they are going to come out with a new policy which would basically do away with the CAG rigorous audits and checks and also the bureaucratic meddling. And this definitely would mean that there is going to be faster processing of the applications for the companies which want to invest in the oil exploration blocks. At the same time, the revenue sharing would start from the day one, as against the current practice of doing revenue sharing after the initial cost is recovered. So this has both the positives as well as negatives. The faster processing of the applications or proposals is definitely a positive, but the fact that the revenue sharing from will start from day one would be a bit negative. We would try and come out with a detailed note on this development a little later. In case of sugar industry, the government is considering doubling the tariff on imported refined sugar to protect the domestic companies, and this is positive for companies like Balrampur Chini, Dhampur Sugar and even Bajaj Hindustan. Friends, Aditya Birla Group has initiated talks with JP Associates for the sale of cement units. This has been going on for a while. Earlier JP Associates was talking to Irish firm and those talks failed, and now Aditya Birla Group has come in the picture. So one will have to see what kind of valuation JP Associates is getting for the sale of this unit. Nevertheless, this development is positive, so one can look at going long there with a stop loss of 88 and a target of about 93 to 94.5. CMC and New Zealand's institution has tied up for providing vocational training through the CMC centers in the country, and this is positive for CMC. It came out with good set of numbers recently, so one can go long there with a stop loss of 1096 and a target of about 1152 to 1173. Maruti has started its operations at Manesar plant with full capacity, and also they have launched a new version of Alto 800, and the fact that the rupee also has appreciated over the past few days is definitely positive for Maruti. It has been outperforming in the market, and some of the brokerages have come out with a switch report from Mahindra to Maruti, but overall from a technical perspective also Maruti is looking positive, so one can go long there with a stop loss of 1340 and a target of about 1408 to about 1434. And in a recent development, the aviation minister has dictated the Airport Authority of India to do away with the airport charges, and this is definitely a big negative for companies which are operating the airports in Mumbai and Delhi like GMR and GVK. So one could go short on those two companies with the stop loss that we mentioned here. And in case of JSW Steel, CBI has filed a charge sheet against Mr. Sajjan Jindal, chairman of the company, on the land acquisition related issues in Karnataka. This is definitely a negative news for JSW Steel. One can go short with a stop loss of 762 and a target of about 725 to 709. Mindtree has lowered its guidance for next year to about 11%, which is definitely negative for the company. One can go short there with a stop loss of 691 and a target of about 657 to about 643. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session. See you tomorrow at the same time.